Hello everyone, this is Kanika and today's video is all about making an interactive light up card. So this is the card that I made, and when you push the button here, let me turn off the lights now, and when you push the button here, you see it lightens up. Okay, so for this card I'm going to be using Craftyscrappers March release stamp set U designed by Kalpana Mittal. This is a wonderful stamp set and I'm absolutely in love with it. It's full of lots and lots of sentiment and has this nice sub-sentiments that works easily with the words. I will also be doing a bit of stenciling and I'm going to be using this beautiful stencil Circle and Hearts from Craftyscrappers. This stencil is around 7.5 by 8 inches and you get a working area of about 6.5 by 6.5 inches, which is great for both A2 cards and bigger cards. To light up the cards, I'm going to be using this DIY light up kit that I bought from a local store that has all the supplies for science project. It comes with 5 pieces of batteries, a strip of LED lights, 5 to be exact, along with 10 pieces of conductive tapes. I will also be using this white pre-fold card from Craftyscrappers as the base of my card, and this piece of cardstock which I have already cut using stitched rectangle die as my card front. I'm going to be using these distress inks from Ranger to create the background using the stencils. I will also be using Wow embossing powder and Emboss It clear embossing ink pad for the word you and for the word mean the world. So let's begin. I will start directly with my card front here, and I will tape down my stencil and my card front all into place to get started. One thing you have to make sure that both the stencil and the card front is taped down properly. Because if you just tape down the stencil without taping the card front, it will move underneath and that won't be much useful. So to avoid that, I have used the cover of a file folder and applied some reusable glue. This way it will hold the paper in place and will make it easier to use stencils. I'm going to be using different colors here to create a red ombre look. So I'm starting off with Festive berries to create a really dark background here, and I'm holding down the stencil for extra precision. I'm going in a circular motion with no pressure on my hand whatsoever, because this is a brand new ink pad and the ink comes up quite quickly and gets dark too. Next I'm going in with picked raspberry and finally finishing off with spun sugar, and I'm just gonna let it fade into the background. So now I'm gonna carefully remove some masking tape here. You see what a beautiful stencil this is. Now I'm going to stamp the sentiment U using the Emboss It ink pad. I'm taking reference from my previously made card to see where I need the U to be. And I'm gonna heat emboss it using Wow embossing powder. So this is how the sentiment looks once heat embossed, and I have also heat embossed the sub sentiment Are My World into a black cardstock strip using white embossing powder. Now it's time to add the shimmer, as you can see in my previous card, and I will also create this dimensional heart from the same stencil, which will be a push down button for lighting up the card. I will use a red Studio G marker to fill color to the heart. And now I'm going to use Studio G glitter glue to add a bit of shimmer, like that I have done with the previous card. I'll keep it aside to dry now. Okay, so it's done. So now I'm taking my card base and placing my card front to see where the card front needs to be. I'm marking the top and the bottom of my card base. I didn't have the cardstock that would match up with the sentiment, so I used the blue touch markers and created a border around the card base. This really helps when you don't have a matching cardstock to put at the back of your cards. And also a great way to save the cardstock since most of the area is kind of blocked with the card front. So this is how the card base looks, and look at it, it completely matches up with the color of the sentiment. So now the fun part, I'm going to create the circuit where I'll put the lights. I need the lights to come from the word U, and I'm going to place the heart button at the bottom of the sentiment. So I'm marking the cardstock now. This is where I'll put the battery, and this is the place where I need to put the light. Now I'm going to fold a piece of paper and place my battery. So the base part of the cut paper is going to be the negative part, and the upper part is going to be the positive part. Now I'll draw the circuit. The circuit needs to be made in such a way that it doesn't touch the positive and negative lines together. So this one is the negative and this one is the positive line. Now I'm going to adhere the battery piece onto the paper, aligning it with the lines and making it flat using a bone folder. Now I'm going to adhere the conductive tape. So I'm taking a tape from the DIY kit and flattening it out as it comes pre-folded and using my X-Acto knife to peel it off a bit. Now I'm going to start taping it down to the paper, and I'm starting from the place where I will put the light first. To fold it in the turns, I'm carefully applying less pressure and going in on top turn and down fold pattern. One thing that I would like to mention here, if the conductive tape is torn, it will not work. You need to gently fold it and go along the way to the battery. So leaving a 1/4 inch from the fold of the paper piece, I'm gonna cut the tape and flatten the whole part. Now I'm moving on to create the positive line, and I'm gonna start with the battery piece here and gradually going into the line where the light needs to be placed. I'm carefully folding the conductive tape on the turns, folds and joints and going on in again with the up turn and down fold pattern. And I'm making sure everything is flat and in place. So now it's time to test the circuit. So I'm going to place the battery and the light and test it. The light is quite small, so I decided to pick it up using my tweezers. So you can see the part that is chipped off is the negative and the part that is not is the positive. To place the light, you need to check which side of the light is negative and which one is the positive. So you need to make sure that you position the light accordingly. The positive goes to the positive line and the negative part of the light goes to the negative side of the circuit. So the circuit works, and now it's time to adhere the light to the card base permanently. The light that I'm using doesn't come with an adhesive backing. I've tried putting all kinds of adhesives, but every time I did, I messed up firing up the small conductors attached to the back of the light. So the best way that I found adhering it using some clear tapes. So I'm going to take some clear tape and I'm going to stick it over the light, securing each side of the lights and making sure that there are no gaps in between. This will keep the light touching the conductive tape and allowing the circuit to work. And I'm continuously testing while I'm going on with the card here. So if any case the circuit doesn't work, what you can do is you can apply another piece of clear tape on top of the light, pressing it hard down and securing all the sides using a bone folder. This creates double pressure, allowing the conductors at the base of the light to match up with the conductive tape and the circuit to work efficiently. So now I need to figure out a way to stick the battery on place, as you don't want the battery to be out of its place after you are finished with the card. So for this, I'm going to take a double-sided tape that is wide enough to hold the battery on place. And then I'm going to take a small piece of adhesive and put it on the battery piece. I'm using 2 layers of double-sided tape here to give the card a bit of dimension and also allowing the battery push down button to work when pressed. So now I'll place my card front and I'm marking the sides again. Okay, so one thing I wanted to show you guys here, these DIY LED lights are white. So if you want to have some colored lights, what you can do is, you can take a piece of vellum, add whatever color light you want and stick it behind the card. This will not give you a burst of colored lights, but you will definitely get a subtle color with the lights. It's actually much more cheaper than buying colored LED lights. So now I'm going to adhere the card front to my card base and test it out. Now I'm applying the sentiment that I heat embossed earlier and placing it on the bottom of the sentiment U, and making sure I'm not placing it onto the battery push down button that I created. So now I'm gonna turn the lights off, and while testing the lights I'm gonna add the heart push down button. So this is the final light up card. I hope you all like it. If you have any confusion or question, do comment in the comment section below and I will get back to you. Thank you for watching.